those fuel injected Slant Six things, don't do this. I tried to half-ass this, I'll admit it. It's the line that comes up because I wanted to keep this car just in case I didn't like the fuel injection to go back to the carburetor. So I just put this on there, and obviously this is 3/8 because that's what these come in as. So what I did is I cut it and put a piece on there, so that way, I don't know if you can see it down in there, but that way the vibrant piece just kind of clips on there, and it holds on there really good. And I've already done a pressure test on it, and it looks good. And I got on that thing, I got all my pieces. I showed you the video, cue video right now. When I say I got them from a scrap bin, this is what I'm talking about. So this is where I got all my throttle body parts from, right here. So stripping down all these here to get some of these Delphi parts. So this way I'll have good parts, and I can put them in there, and hopefully I can kind of satisfy some of the problems I have. But remember, these are all leftover used crap. You saw exactly where I'm getting it out of, so I'm trying to make this work with what I got. And like I was telling you, all the other parts are basically just leftover crap that they had laying around. So just to prove that. So here's all the Delphi stuff that I got. I put it all onto this throttle body now, just because I want to be able to trust this thing when I go and drive it around. Not saying that the other parts wouldn't work. It probably would, but this way I want to make sure that it continues to work well. You know, I still haven't ventured beyond the city that I live in Kohlerville. Tomorrow is Monday, and I'm going to drive it to TCI, which is about a 40-something mile drive there, 40-something mile drive back. Fingers crossed, and we're going to give it a go. And I put brand new 39-pound injectors in this, and I'm getting a little better as far as tuning it right there. And yep, it's been a process, but it seems to run better and better each time as it's learning. So I can't complain there. We're going to go for a drive here, just a few, and once I get this thing started up, we'll go from there. Moving on. So I put the pump in the tank. I took the one out from the fender well just because I'm liking this fuel injection, so I wanted to make sure that it worked. And so that's the only piece of rubber hose, is that one right there that connects that to that 5/16, you know, the hose clamps and whatnot. It's a pretty simple deal. Now, I had a brand new tank to put in here, but it just didn't fit as well as obviously the OEM tank. So I ended up taking that tank back out, putting this tank back in, and then swapping out the pump. And it seems to run much better like this. So if you decide to do this, always put it in tank. Kind of a big day. Got rid of the fuel pump. I just went down and got a Chevrolet style block off plate, and it works. So there's that. All right, let's make some noise. So here we are. Fuel injection, learning, just like it shows. Maiden voyage. We're gonna try to put some miles on this thing, and we're gonna go get some tacos. We're gonna drive to Oakland, Tennessee, and to the only place without going into the armpit of Memphis, where you get, you know, killed and car stolen, broken into, where you can get decent tacos. So that's where we're on to, and this is the first time I've actually had it up to any sort of miles per hour. So I figured I would, if it goes and the hood explodes, and that's what it does. So this is, seems to be okay so far. Torque converter came on, it's locked up, and it's getting up to speed nicely. Everything looks good there. Doing 70-ish miles an hour. So it's halfway decent. We will, as we drive along, we will, when we get to Oakland, we'll see if we get there. All right, moving along. Well, car made it. We're at Street Tacos in Oakland, Tennessee. It's the only legitimate place that you can go to get a taco in this area. It's about 30 miles from my house, but boom, moving on. Tacos. Happy place.
Look at this.
Guacamole with actual stuff in it.
Oh,
What do you got?
This is amazing. It's a burrito with steak in it. and stuff in it. It's really good.
Yeah. Does it remind you of home? Remind you of home?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Boom. So we're putting some miles on it. I've already burned about a half a tank of fuel through the thing. We've done almost 100 miles or so. So, yeah, this is how you make them learn, and it's learning as we drive around. It's getting better and better. It definitely drives different than a carburetor. Still learning it. It's a lot more touchy. With a carburetor, as you accelerate and stuff like that, you have a little bit of give. You kind of learn how the accelerator pump works. Since this one is a computer, it's essentially the exact same every single time you throttle it. So it's kind of doing its thing. You know, depending on a carburetor, how you hit the accelerator pump, it squirts in a little differently. Still learning on how to drive it, but yeah, it's doing good, and it's yeah, happy so far. Moving on. Well, there it is. We made it back. Yay! So we put like 100 and something miles on it so far, and see, it's still hot. And yeah, it's runs good. It's still learning, you know, doing its thing, but each time it learns, it's starting up. The only time I ever have any issues with this thing is when it's starting cold. Now, it's definitely easier than when it was with the carburetor, but still, it's a little funky. Once it gets to about 120 to 130 degrees, and I really believe that has to do with the intake manifold getting warm, but as soon as it starts up, and I was checking underhood temps because it has underhood temps now, as far as the air inlet temperature, and it hovers right around 90 degrees or so, the way it sits right now, as far as sucking in through this. So eventually, I'm going to make something that's going to go over and then kind of go in there and then pick up air from the vent, and then we'll see what the temperatures are then. And yeah, that's one of the things that's next. So anyways, this took a few weeks in the making, and I don't care, but it is what it is. But yeah, fuel injected, Slant Six start, and it's running better. Next step actually is going to be, I'll show you. Look, so we're not going to end it real quick. I bought one of these, and then here is something for, it's 120 degrees off. And this actually came from one of my buddies. He used to race the Buick V6s. So it's 120 degrees, obviously. And then I'm just using it as a template. I'm going to make something that fits on the back side of this for that. And then I'm going to use the thing as a crank trigger. And then I'm going to have computer control for my timing will be next with the throttle body. Then I'm going to go to the sequential after that. So yeah, this is moving along. Alrighty. You guys have a good week. Later.